See, do I want to see? Do I not want to see?
This is KSKQ 89.5 FM in Ashland, Oregon, and this is Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis. Thanks for joining us today. I am in the studio today with our guest, Cheryl S. Williams, who will be on in just a moment. This show is about art and the business of art. Today I'm going to talk to Cheryl. She is a local artist from Talent, Oregon, so, you know, there is talent in talent. There's a lot of talent in talent, actually. And then my music today is from all local musicians. I have a mix that I think you're really going to enjoy. You can find links to all of their websites, both Cheryl's and the musicians that I'm playing today, on the new Art on the Airwaves website, and that is artontheairwaves.com. So there is a post that is just about today's show, and it has all the links to their websites. If you're local, there's an upcoming event. It's called Art Day at Red Lily Winery. It's Sunday, June 28th from 12 to 5, and it's put on by the Southern Oregon Guild, which is in Kirby. Do you drive by there on your way to the Oregon coast? If you live in the Rogue Valley, a lot of you guys will be heading over to the coast for weekends and stuff like that. And on your way to Brookings or Crescent City or wherever, there's this really cute little town that you go through called Kirby. And if you take a moment to stop, there is a gallery there that has really amazing artists. And it is at the RCC campus. They have a cool sign. It's on from the Rogue Valley headed towards the coast. It is on your left side. So look for that. And so they are coming to the Red Lily Winery on Sunday, June 28th from 12 to 5. So you'll also get a chance to get to know them closer to our area. And then, of course, there's wine involved if it's at Red Lily Winery. So wine and art, it's, you know, kind of perfect in my eyes. Tomorrow is the Taste of Summer in and around Jacksonville, and there's a new store that's opening tomorrow in the historic downtown. It's a friend of mine who is one of the owners of it, and it is called Jacksonville Gems and Jewelry. It is at 150 South Oregon Street, which is right across the street from the Good Bean. It's open from 9 to 5, and it features the state gem, which is the Oregon Sunstone. And I love the color orange in my painting, so you can imagine how much I love the Oregon Sunstone. They also have other gems and stuff like that. So tomorrow in Jacksonville, the Taste of Summer, and try to step into that store and take a peek at it, because it sounds like it's going to be really cool. Luxbeat Magazine is the premier resource for all things luxury, and I've signed on to do a column profiling my favorite artists. My first article is about our guest today, Cheryl Williams. I don't think it's posted yet, but it's supposed to post fairly soon, so you want to keep your eyes on that. It's luxbeatmag.com, and it's spelled LUXEBEATMAG.com. Other upcoming artists that I will be interviewing are Evan Orlando. She's going to be the featured artist at the J. Pepin Gallery in Portland for July. So I saw her art when I was it was in November. I was driving through Portland, and it was the first time I had walked into the J. Pepin Gallery, and it's really cool. It really moved me. And then part of the reason I decided to profile her for one of the articles, her art moved me, and we're going to be in a show together at the J. Pepin Gallery in July. She will be the featured artist, and then I'm going to have two of my large-scale paintings, my 4 feet by 4 feet ones. So on my upcoming trip to Seattle, which is in, I think it's like a week and a half, I'm going to stop and drop off my paintings, and I get to meet her in person. So I'm really excited about that. And then on my way home from Seattle, I'm going to interview and visit the studio of artist David Castleberry. So there's kind of a cool story, at least in my eyes, behind this, which is that I didn't paint for quite a few years when my children were little. I was always doing something creative, but I just kind of took a break from painting. I think I was just so busy chasing my kids around and stuff. And then I happened into the 2nd Street Gallery in Bandon, which is where my parents live, and there was this art on the wall that just like jumped off the wall at me. It was just like these bright contrasts. It was, you know, black with blues and trees and all the stuff that I love. And I was so inspired by it. I actually, after I got back to Seattle, I actually contacted the gallery and asked if my parents could come in and snap a few photos for me. And this was like, 10 or maybe even 15 years ago, before you really at least before I knew how to look artists up on the internet and stuff. So my parents went in and they took some pictures and sent them to me, and that was actually what inspired me to start painting again as an adult, was his paintings. So when I got this job to profile different artists for Lux Beat magazine, I thought about him, so I tracked him down. Second Street Gallery connected me with him. So on my way back from Seattle in a couple of weeks, I'm going to stop and meet David Castleberry and check out his studio and interview him. And he is located in Charleston, Oregon, so I'm really excited about that. So those are 3 of the upcoming articles that will be in Lux Beat magazine. And I need to pause for 1 second regarding my trip to Seattle, because I'm going the week of June 14th. And drum roll, please, because as a mom, this is really exciting for me. My baby, my youngest baby, who is now 21, is graduating from the University of Washington in Media and Communications. So I'm over the moon proud of her, and that's what I'm going to be in Seattle for. So I have 3 amazing daughters, and I get to go celebrate one of them on June 14th in Seattle. Upcoming shows on June 19th, Art on the Airwaves. We're going to have Jennifer Pepin from the J. Pepin Gallery that I was talking about. It's in the Pearl District in Portland. It's a beautiful gallery. Her gallery is inspiring and interesting, and it's focused on the beauty that can come from having a mental illness. And like I said, I'm going to have 2 of my paintings in there, so doesn't that just make you kind of want to listen and hear the story behind that? So that's going to be on June 19th. She's going to be a call-in guest. Really excited about that. And then on July 3rd, I'm going to have Josh from the Rogue Valley Messenger as my guest. I wanted to have somebody from publications come on my show because I think there's a lot of questions as artists that we have about how to get our events in publications. So I think if you have questions about that you want me to ask him, shoot me an email. It is cammydavisart@gmail.com, cammydavisart@gmail.com. So the first song I'm going to play for you, or I should say the second, because we actually already had one song. My opening song, if you missed that, was by Shivo Torres, who is a local musician, and he recorded that version of my theme song, Best Day of Your Life, for me. And I have a couple of other local artists, local musicians, who are recording my theme song, so it's going to be really fun to have you guys listen to those upcoming. So I'm going to send you to a song. This one is by Jeff Kletzel, and it is Come Back to Me. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. I just love that music. We have so many local talented musicians. It's just ridiculous, the talent in this area. Ridiculous in a very good way. So you are back with Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis on KSKQ 89.5 FM in Ashland, Oregon. And my guest today is artist Cheryl S. Williams. Cheryl is a local artist who has supported herself through art sales for 30 years. I mean, hats off to someone who can do that. I have a lot to learn from her. She has these ceramics that the name of them is Prosperity Bowls, and they are in the White House collection, as well as many other collections. And her work is beautiful, it's simple, it's ethereal. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you here today. So I want to start by putting my microphone back together because it fell apart while I was talking. There we go. I want to start by explaining your work to the listeners that haven't seen your work yet.
Sure.
So am I starting? Are you going to explain?
No, that's it.
Because I said that to her before we went on. I want to start by explaining your work. And she goes, yeah, you go ahead with that one. So Cheryl's work, what moved me about her work when I saw it is that when you first look at it, like from far away, it can look really simple. And it is simple. That's actually part of what is so beautiful about it. But it isn't. When you get closer to it and it just kind of sucks you in. There's like so many layers of it, but is depth. I think that's the word. And stillness. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but it's your personality as well. To me, whenever I'm around you and I leave, there's like this really zen, peaceful feeling that I have. So it was really interesting to me. I videotaped Cheryl fairly recently for a gallery exhibit that she's doing.
Right, down in California.
Yes.
And it's called the Highlight Gallery. And thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
It means a lot when I can show people in a different way rather than just looking at a painting. They're actually seeing me, do it. And as you say, I've been doing this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And all my work, you know, I'm a clay artist. I'm also two-dimensional. I do abstract paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a stillness.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quietness. And with the paintings, there's a lot of layers. I build up many, many layers.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, part of what draws you in. And it's funny how you can look at the painting one moment and then it starts kind of changing the next moment.
It does. It does.
Yeah. You know, in the afternoon or in the morning. So, yeah, they are quiet. I over time, you know, I have changed. I used to do very broad, dynamic brush strokes. And now they're a little bit more subtle, I would say.
Yeah, subtle. They are subtle. One of the things that jumped out at me so much when I was videotaping you, and of course I know you a little bit by now, not as much as I'd like to. I like to spend more time with you because Cheryl, she's an amazing human being as well. But when I had videotaped her before, it was for an Edgy in October thing, and she just didn't seem like in her element. I throw people in front of the camera all the time, and it didn't particularly seem.
I'm not.
Well, now I know the secret is this time when I went to videotape her, and no, you were just fine. It came out just fine on camera. I don't mean to make you feel bad over that, but I could tell you it wasn't particularly your comfort zone. So this time I went to videotape you, and I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but I was videotaping her during her creative process, and it was completely different.
It makes a big difference to me too. Of course, I'm more relaxed. It's just what I do. You're in the zone, rhythm, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, and it's easy.
It's easy. Interesting. It's just interesting you said that. To me, it was really moving because I was just videotaping away, and then suddenly I could just tell she got into her creative zone and stuff. And you said you were talking about how you typically paint at night because it's quieter, and you were like in that zone while you were doing it, and you were just like the brush was flowing and stuff, and I like teared up. It was just I was so happy to be there, experiencing that moment, watching you, an artist, create like that. It was amazing.
Don't you think that is with most artists, if not all artists? You have this conversation going on with whatever you're doing, or you're one with your wood you're carving, or what you're painting on your canvas, whatever art you're doing. You do tend to block everything out. It's like an athlete, you know, you're focused. It's that focus and that enjoyment. You know, from doing your own work.
I know, but you and I had this conversation when I was there interviewing you for the story, and I had recorded it. I don't know if I recorded it. Well, I was listening to it last night, and you and I had this conversation, and we actually felt a little different on this. I don't know if you remember this, but here's my thoughts. You think everyone does. I think well, I don't want to say the gifted ones do, but maybe I want to say the lucky ones do. I think that that's something that, as any type of artist, that we all try to really tap into is that moment. And yes, I definitely have those moments. And the paintings that I do where I don't have those moments are the ones that hit the burn pile, you know. But I think there's a lot of people that really never know how to tap into that because there is such a thing about letting the outside world go and just being in that creative moment. Don't you think?
I kind of take it from maybe a different place.
I love it when we disagree, by the way.
How can you not be in that place? It's just automatic. And maybe just because it feels automatic to me, or it is automatic
I think it's so much a part of you.
Yeah, that I don't realize that there's another way. I think over the years, you know, I've been doing this for so long. I remember, you know, starting out painting, right? We all remember our starting out phase.
I do, yes, I do.
And I would get really frustrated and angry, and my back would start hurting me. After a while, I was like, what is going on? Well, it's almost like you're hitting a wall. You're not one with, you're not going with.
Yeah.
And I was trying to interpose my whatever onto the canvas rather than letting it all
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be a dance, or,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call that, and communication on a lot of different levels, and a lot of different spiritual beings come in, and it's more of a joy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think when you're in the zone, it's just like hours pass and it's only, you hear the same story. It's only like 5 minutes, seems like 5 minutes, and nothing else really matters. And then you step back and it's like, wow, look at that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. The only thing I don't agree on is that it just happens automatically or all the time. So, I try to be really genuine and honest because, well, I'm kind of that way as a person, but on my radio show, so here's my thing that happened to me recently is taking my work, really excited to a gallery that, just really excited about it, taking my art in for them to view. They'd agreed to look at it. And what he said after he looked at it was that it's very, I just lost the word. It's very still, basically. There was no movement, there was no motion in it. And I stood back and looked at it, and I thought, oh, he is so right. So what processing it afterward, I feel like what had happened to me was I was so focused on the business that I was going between the computer and the canvas and trying to somehow produce my art while I'm building the art business side of it. And so what I've done since then, I'm so happy with the painting, I can't wait to show them to you, that I've done recently, is step away from the computer and create time just for my art.
When you were talking, I thought you were incorporating the computer work and your painting. And what I mean by that, a lot of times I'll think a painting is finished.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not quite finished, but I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah.
I will take an image of it with my camera, go into Photoshop.
Oh, you do that too? Yeah.
You bet. And I won't change colors, but it gives me a different way than to look at the painting and going, wow, if I brought light into here, look how much it changes. And so then I'll take it off the wall and put it back on the easel and paint that way. It gives another opportunity to look at things differently.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would never have guessed that you did that.
Sometimes it's
Did you do that with that one that was on your wall when I was there that you were just like, you were angry at this one painting when I was there? Well, I don't think you get angry, but that blue one.
Oh, that totally changed.
I saw the finished piece. It was beautiful.
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
Always.
No, see, that's really interesting, and I think that's something that I need to figure out is that balance between, because I do think the one thing I was missing was I was not creating separate time to go into my creative zone, and that's kind of what we're talking about is the creative zone, like stepping back and then processing it. But do you think that you could, like in the middle of painting, go and do something at the computer and then go back to the painting and still be in that creative zone? I think that's what I was. Yeah. Could you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're just amazing. But I already knew that.
No, but it takes time. It's just switching gears.
Maybe it's a learning curve.
But I'm very selfish.
Okay, you said that before, and I cannot see that.
I am.
No.
I love creating. That's what I do. So many hours a day, I'm in my studio doing that. And that's what I mean. I don't have little kids running around asking for attention. Of course, we all have responsibilities. But most of my hours in the day are devoted to me, to my art.
Oh, it sounds heavenly.
It depends. But, I've made that choice.
Right. Yeah. And maybe that's why the separate, and maybe that's why the creative zone works for you so well, is because you don't, like, I feel like I'm just all these different directions of things, coming at me all the time. So it's like I need to separate somehow.
Right. Well, sometimes when that happens, your day is just busy, or you know you have to do X, whatever it is. I just make a list.
Oh, another list person.
It's like, okay, what really needs to get done?
Yeah.
And to be able to be flexible enough to say, well, at any point, this can get changed.
Yeah.
When I'll just go back to my paintings.
Yeah.
I know I cannot paint 10-minute segments.
Mm-hmm.
Drop the brush, go and do something and bring it back. So I plan on a big chunk of time.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I was going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I
So
can do that.
do you paint every day, Cheryl?
Yeah, you bet. You bet. That's just the line. Unless I'm on the road or something. Yes, I paint every day. I do art every day.
Oh my God, I want your life. I guess I can carve it out. So tell our listeners, how did you create this life for yourself? So you started as an artist fairly young, correct?
I did. I started in my later 20s, and I had done a lot of different things in life, but was really dissatisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having this class that I took in high school. It was for clay, ceramics class, pottery class, I called it. And I was immediately hooked. And I was one of those kids where I was kind of a bad kid. So
I can imagine that, actually.
I went to an alternative school.
For bad kids? Or was it just an alternative? Oh.
Well, not really. I mean, we all had our issues, I suppose. It was a Quaker school. Up
You
in
were
the
a Quaker?
Sears. No, but they accepted kids like me, and it was John Woolman School. I don't think they exist anymore. But anyways, and they also had a studio, a barn, and I got to continue. And going through life, you make those choices of, where do I want to go? What are my interests? And like I said, I have done other things. I was a welder. I was a dental lab tech and house painting. Nothing satisfying.
Wait, you painted houses too? I didn't hear that one before. That's new information.
So I ended up having a few bucks in my pocket. Didn't know what to do. Was on the street for a short time, and it kind of makes you think, there's more to life than doing what people think, you're told to do.
Right.
Stuff like that. So, you have to pay attention to those little voices, and a voice said, hey, go down to the local retail store, pottery store, and there was a help wanted, so I helped out. And for the time that I was on the street, I honed my craft as a potter. And things just started taking off after I did a trade show, the wholesale shows back east. And it all started that way.
I love that when I was interviewing you before, you said that there was a time in your 20s, so this is probably the time that you're talking about when you were living in your, was it a Toyota?
Yeah,
some type of
Toyota
vehicle on the side of the street with your pottery wheel. I just love I want a picture of that so bad, by the way.
I had a wheel, and as I said, I was helping out this other potter, and so there was like 5 potters behind the retail part of this, and we all got to have a little space, and just throw every day, and this is what I want to do, or forget it. It's not worth it. And that's how it all started. And I started painting way back when, but
way back then when you were right about then, because I thought the painting came later.
Well, I had stopped. I lived in Eugene for a long time, for about 11 or 12 years.
So this was in California, and this is the thing I remember you saying was that it was in your late 20s, I believe, and you made a conscious decision that you were going to give it a shot, and you were either going to make it as an artist or you were not. And to me, that was such an incredibly brave statement, because when I was in my 20s, I was thinking, I don't want to be a starving artist, and I was running away from it and doing everything I hated to try to not be a starving artist.
I love eating.
Oh, this is why we get along.
We're not into the starving artist. No,
but I was too afraid to do it, is what I'm saying. You were so brave at that age to do it.
I don't think it's a bravery thing. It was either, I'm going to succeed at this, and I don't mean succeed like your name has to be, in every store or whatever. It wasn't a choice. that's how I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do this, and if not, well, then I'll just leave planet Earth. But it was a conscious thing.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I guess I'm on the right path.
Well, I think you're kind of on the right path because it's been a while. So then you moved to Eugene.
I moved to
Tell
Eugene,
us what happened then.
Well, I kept working, and as I said, got introduced to the trade show,
Right.
and ACC, American Craft Council, things like that, and my clay instantly took off. And as you said, I was doing those ceramic bowls, a little bit different back then. And they paid my rent. They paid my mortgage. And from there, then I started going, I really want to start painting. And I did a little bit of that. And I was doing both. And sold that place and then moved to Idaho and bought my dream place.
Where did you live in Idaho? What town?
I lived in Sun Valley, Ketchum area.
Oh, okay. Because I went to school at University of Idaho in Moscow. I haven't been back since, but it was such an idyllic time in my life. It's beautiful there.
It's really very ugly or very beautiful. There's not much in between.
That's probably a good descriptor.
So I lived there for a while, and I also lived way up in the Panhandle.
Really?
Sago, Idaho.
I don't even know where that is.
Well, you know where Coeur d'Alene is.
Yeah, so up
So
there.
it's up there. But there's 2 people on the cow, probably. Sago.
Well, so you said that was your idyllic place to live. So then how did you get from Idaho to Oregon, which is idyllic as well?
Just went down Highway 5.
Such a smartass.
So just one thing led to another.
Yeah.
I finally decided I've been a recluse all my life. Still am, pretty much. But decided, I don't want to just look at a cow all day. Or, maybe it's time to join the human race.
Yeah.
So that's why I came down to Ashland. It's not big, small enough. You can either disappear or not disappear. And as you said, there is so many people here that are creative.
I know.
It's wonderful.
It's
a
surprising. It really is.
It's like New Mexico or whatever. There's just places on earth
yes.
that just draw this creativity.
It's so true. And it's with musicians and it's with artists and, Shakespeare.
Everybody.
It's amazing the
We're all
talent we
doing
have
this.
here. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very inspiring. Well, let's go to our next song. And this is by talented local people that we were just talking about. This is really cool. This is by Old Mountain Dew. A little different than what I usually play, and I love it. And so here we go. I love that. That was Old Mountain Dew, which is a local band. And I actually just ran into Larry from Old Mountain Dew the other day in Ashland, and I was like, Larry, I need to talk to you. And I asked him if we could do one of the music art videos that I'm doing, and I'm not sure which song we're going to do, but I just think that's going to be really fun. Their music is it's so bouncy, right?
Yes.
Were you
very
dancing like I was?
Very
or were you just laughing at me while I was just dancing?
No.
I don't know. Anyway, this is Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis on KSKQ 89.5 FM in Ashland, Oregon, and we are back on the air today with Cheryl S. Williams, and I have so much fun with Cheryl Williams that I kind of almost forgot we were in the middle of a song and we were actually coming back on the air and stuff because there's just always so much I want to talk to her about. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. And you want to talk about some of the business?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to talk about. When I meet with you, I'm always like, Cheryl, just teach me. Just so my pores are ready to soak up all of your information. Give it to me. So let's give our listeners some information on how to be a successful artist for 30 years.
Follow your gut instincts. That's number one. For years, I was almost afraid of approaching galleries, and the industry has really changed over the span that I've been doing.
Oh, I bet.
And now it's like, this is what I do. This is what they are. This is, I come from, this is what I need from it. It's a business relationship. You're helping me, I'm helping you. There's the spot, you're showing my art. It's a business relationship.
Yeah.
Communication is so important.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It is. And, you know, there's been some rough spots, you know, not getting paid, things like that. I've taken some people to court and have gotten paid. But, you know, you drop them.
Mm-hmm.
You keep the people that you have a good relationship with.
Yeah.
And they, in turn, you know, help you out. And it's all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
Timing is everything, you know that saying. And I think you need to look at the business end as it's just business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Take the emotions out
Right.
of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that really helps. If you can get your emotions out of it
Mm-hmm.
and just look at it. It's kind of black and white, I know. But it is a business. You need to stand up for yourself.
Yes.
But not be so overbearing that, well, I only want you to do, you know, don't go into that because that turns anybody off.
Yeah.
But standing up for your art, standing up for yourself. And don't forget the enjoyment aspect of it all.
For sure. I think the business side is actually one of the ways that you and I mesh, because I do think a lot of artists kind of have a hard time because we're creative people.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I talked about this a little bit, where it's a little bit difficult, whereas when you're putting your art out there, you are being judged on have you put enough emotion into it. And then on the flip side, it's like, oh my God, she's just an emotional artist. You know?
Well, you know, that's the thing about here in the States, well, kind of around the world. We like to build people up and tear them down.
Yes, we do.
And so you need to be able to stand back
Mm-hmm.
and just go for it.
Yeah.
Don't hold yourself back.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this emotional thing is. Where does that come from?
What do you mean? I mean, what do you mean you don't know what the emotional thing is?
Well, no, you keep speaking about that. Like this gallery said something about emotional. Where's your emotion in your art?
Mm-hmm.
Well, doesn't the art speak for itself? I don't know. I don't understand that concept. Either
Mm-hmm.
you're moved by something,
Yeah.
or you're not moved by something, and we all have different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about being critical of another person's art, you know how sometimes you'll hear, well, my 2-year-old son could have painted that.
Oh, I think I have heard that before.
Well, then let your 2-year-old son paint that. Go ahead.
You know, one thing I loved was I had said to you that I had gotten some criticism lately for shameless self-promotion.
Oh.
And you put your hand up in the air and you high-fived me. You were like,
That's
right
what
on,
it's
girl.
about.
You go.
You have to.
No.
You
I
have
love
to
that.
in this day and age.
Yeah.
I mean, not even in this day and age. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have social media.
Your favorite?
Yes, my favorite. Being a recluse, you know, that's just goes so well hand in hand. You know,
I don't know as often the recluses that are doing the social media. Come on.
You know, you've got the brick and mortar, the gallery, or
Yeah.
the retail stores, or whatever. And there's interior designers, there's corporate. I mean, there's so many different ways now as an artist. So many different avenues to approach. You can do airplanes, you can do yachts, you can homes, what businesses, all different kinds.
How do you approach these? How do you find them and approach them? Any suggestions for people listening, including myself?
I do spend some time on the computer just
Researching
wandering
and
around.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Something will catch my eye and say, oh, look at this company.
Mm-hmm.
I like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you find out sometimes people will have, let's say it's a gallery, they'll say artist submissions, or they'll tell you how they want to be
a lot of them
approached.
do have it on there. Mm-hmm, I've noticed that.
But if you just have, you're approaching a place that's not a gallery, let's say a yacht company, places that design yachts, do the interiors, because they also have designers, of course.
Yeah.
They've approached me, and I have done work for them. And you just have to think a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
You can put together a packet and send it in the mail, or you can do things on the internet now. try both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just, don't ever be afraid.
Yeah,
no
I
matter
agree with
how
that.
good you are, no matter how, if you think you're a crappy artist, doesn't matter. Just keep putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
We all get rejection.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what stage you are in doing your artwork.
Yeah.
It's just life. We're all humans. As I said, there will be people that love your work, people that hate your work.
I totally agree with you. That was one of the things when I moved here and I have this certain amount of time to, I take care of my grandma to build my art business. And I said, okay, I'm just going to ask for anything I want. I'm not going to be afraid of no. I'm just going to ask. And it's amazing when you ask for something you want, and especially if you're always looking for the win-win, which I do. Like I'm always offering them something at the same time.
Yes.
It's amazing how many people will say yes.
It
you know,
is, huh?
like don't be afraid to ask. And you do get no's, but there's so many that say yes.
Well, it's also that energy that you
Yeah.
have. You know, that's like very bubbly.
Yeah.
People love that. Yeah. You're a go-getter.
Oh, well, thank you, Cheryl. Well, thank you, Cheryl S. Williams. So I was going to bring up Instagram. I kind of didn't warn her about this, but when I was over at her house videotaping her, I grabbed her cell phone, and Cheryl might be a little controlling. She's like, oh God, don't grab me, And I'm like, no, we're going to set you up on Instagram. So I got her on Instagram and snapped a few pictures, and she's like, I hate social media. What's this going to do for me? So here's my little story about Instagram. It hasn't been that long since I've been on it, but I occasionally will do a little bit of research to try to find out more about things. I force myself, and so I kind of research like how to get followers, and so I'm trying to slowly build my Instagram and see how it works. So in the short amount of time that I've been on it, here's one thing I've noticed. One of the galleries that has had my jewelry for a couple of years, but has shown no interest in my art, and yes, I have asked them twice so far that I've been rejected. Well, I noticed I had followed them on Instagram, and I noticed at some point they followed me back, and they've been, clicking like next to my images and stuff because it's a visual field that we're in.
Yes.
So I'm posting images while I'm painting and stuff. So I had an opportunity to make a trip to the coast, which is where they're at. So I emailed her and said, hey, do you need more jewelry? And here's some links to my newest paintings. Can I come by and show them to you? And so she said, yeah, so I have an appointment with her. So I do think that even if with social media, what I find is that if you don't get that direct result from it, I do think it puts it in front of people's faces quite a bit. So I do think that there is.
I'm a dinosaur.
No, you are not.
I am.
No.
I'm just slowly getting into the social media. Slowly but surely.
Slowly dragging and screaming.
Well, just 'cause I know nothing about it. I mean, it takes time for me, and when you start getting that gray hair setting in, things take a little bit more time.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of there, but I don't want to admit it. So, so let's talk about some of the challenges that you've had in building your art business that other artists can relate to, and how you've overcome them. Any tips or suggestions on those?
When it doesn't work, move on.
Oh, give me an example.
Just make it simple. If things aren't working out with your relationship, let's say with I keep going back to the galleries.
Mm-hmm.
It's time just to let it go and find another gallery.
Yeah, I did that with one. Like here, I've been trying so hard and love this gallery and wanting my stuff in there, but I think 2 or 3 times when I left that gallery, I would burst into tears, and I had to say, okay, really, is this worth it?
Yeah. Right.
So just move on and look for, get rid of the negative.
Sometimes they're learning experiences, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're kind of trying to push it, or you don't feel comfortable in something that's going on, that's not a good relationship. As I said, it is a 2-way relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You both have to kind of do the dance.
Yeah.
Things happen. Can you adjust?
Yeah.
If something gets broken or something happens, why it's hanging, all those kind of things you have to feel out. But in all of that, you have to stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. How does art benefit your life?
I would say it is so intertwined. Well, first of all, it's all around us. It just makes me richer. It's taught me so much about patience, when to give, when not to give, the flow of things, looking at things differently. In my work, I don't always just paint, doing. Sometimes I give myself, like, lessons.
Oh, you talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, give us some examples. I found that really interesting. Like little challenges and lessons, right?
Exactly, of course.
Like,
I want to grow, just like, we all want to grow as artists, right?
Yeah.
And I paint, I just let it flow. Unless it's a commission, I don't have something preconceived in my mind, like, I'm going to paint this tree next to a lake. That's just not how I paint. And so if I feel stuck in a certain area, or I feel like I want a challenge, I will just say, okay, I'm going to paint this painting mostly blue, or I'm going to do a super small one or a super big one. I will set up parameters.
Yeah.
And have it as a challenge.
It's interesting. What is difference for you when you paint a really small one versus a really big one? Like, what are the differences?
That's tough.
Yeah.
When you've got a large painting, and because I'm so short, I'm only 5 foot.
I know, she's so tiny. I asked her to get something off a shelf, and then I felt so bad.
Oh, it's getting the lifts and the shoes.
We're going to get you in 6-inch heels.
I know.
Christian Louboutin heels.
I love painting large. It's just, you
I do too.
Get your whole arm going, your whole body's involved in it.
Yeah, you're more into it is what I feel. That video I was telling you, I'm going to be doing a video where they want me to paint during the video, and he said, well, could you do it on a 10, the original painting is 4 foot by 4 foot.
Right.
He goes, could you do it on a 10-inch by 10-inch canvas? And I think my head was screaming inside, because I was like, I don't think I can.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Well, I used to paint small, and what got me out of it is a commission. And it was for a hospital, and they wanted 2 paintings that were going to be displayed side by side, and each one needed to be 4 foot by 4 foot.
My favorite size.
Exactly. You can still reach around it.
I love that size painting.
And that's how I kind of make the leap. And now it's like, well, how big can I get it? And I want to design something where I can have it turn, and so you don't struggle having to lift it off the easel. Yeah. Yes. So, Hassel Fabrication.
Okay.
On Dead Indian.
Oh, here in Ashland.
He's a great fabricator.
What is fabricator? He builds the panels and stuff, or what does fabricator mean?
Well, I'm going to design an easel. He doesn't know about this yet.
Guess what, if you're listening.
That's right. Brett, if you're listening, another crazy artist is going to come to you. And so I want to design this easel so that it can turn, it can lay down, as a tabletop. Or you can turn the canvas. Yeah.
He might have to make 2 of those. I might need one too. That'd be perfect.
I know. And you can do it out of aluminum.
Oh, yeah, so it's not so bulky. And it'd have to be heavy at the bottom so it didn't tip and stuff. Yeah. That would be really awesome, because what I find with those big ones especially is that I'm trying to paint the gallery wrap. You paint the sides of yours too, and then it's trying to get to all the sides.
Well, and I never paint a canvas. I'm always turning it around, of course, upside down.
Yes.
And things like that, and
yeah.
So I don't believe the industry yet has come up with a good easel.
No, I'm going to agree. At least not one that I have purchased or anything.
I think you have to make your own.
Yeah. I will, or have the fabricated what was his name, Brett? Brett make them for you. I love that. I can't believe how fast this hour always goes, because I have the most amazing guests, and I've been on the air with Cheryl S. Williams. Her website is CherylSWilliams.com, and there is a link both on the Art on the Airwaves Facebook page, or just go to our website, which is artontheairwaves.com, and to today's post, and there's a link to that as well as all the musicians that I played today. And then we have been video recording it. We will have that on YouTube by tomorrow, as well as a copy of this as a podcast so that you can share it with your friends. So all of that will be on artontheairwaves.com. Any last comments before we go to our last song?
Have fun. No, just create. Have fun.
Create. Have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. This was Art on the Airwaves with Cammy Davis on KSKQ 89.5 FM. And the song that I'm going to send you guys out with today is Beast of Burden by Rogue Suspects.
Oh, I love this. Awesome.
We need to have you waving at. Thank you.